guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be doing a soft spoken ramble today, so it's not going to be any ASMR stuff. I want to do ASMR whispered content more as time goes by, but for now I'm just going to do a little ramble again like I did on my last video. I really appreciate all the comments that I've been getting about me coming back, and I really appreciate each and every one of my fans that have said, I'm glad you're back now. So I really appreciate that. I wasn't really going to film my videos recently, and I will explain about it later, but for now I'm going to talk about, first of all, I'm going to talk about my TikTok. I have a TikTok currently, and I would say I've recently set it up, but it's been a while now. And I do filters with on it with music, and I also do I've done an ASMR little short on TikTok where I'm bubble blowing a drink, and it's a blue slushy drink. I've also put it on my YouTube channel if you haven't guessed, so yeah. If you want to check out my TikTok, I'll leave a link in the description box so you can check that out. And I also have an Instagram which you can follow me, which I will leave as well in the description box, like always. And as always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell so that you're updated about any future content that I may post. Anyway, I'm going to start the video. So as I said, I've been feeling a bit iffy lately, and what with my mental health, I get kind of a bit like that because I have anxiety, as you know, and I get a bit worried and panicked, and sort of feel a bit down with it. So I've been kind of feeling down because of my monetization, in which I get paid for my YouTube channel, which has really put me down. I've had Jeff a few times saying to me not to worry about it and just carry on posting content. But if you can do me a favour, guys, if you can continue to watch my content over and over again for me, I would really appreciate it. Because I'm trying to get my watch time hours up with my YouTube channel, and I need to do shorts to get it up, and I need 3,000 watch time hours preferably, because I've done all the other things, and I'm not sure, because they've said within the 30 days I have to complete this, but I'm not sure if the 30 days are up and I have to maybe reapply the YouTube partnership, which I hope is not the case. And it's just really stupid that they've done that to me. And I understand, I haven't been posting in months, but there's loads of people that don't post for months and months on end, and they still get paid. And I kind of was wishing I hadn't been away for a long time, and I'd kind of come back when I should have come back, so that then this wouldn't have happened and it could have been prevented. But it's just been making me not want to do videos lately, and not want me to post anything, and making me want to quit my channel, and I don't want to have to quit my channel because it means a lot to me, but yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just going to move that up a bit because my recording thing is coming up, and I'm trying to get the backdrop in, and my location is a bit different today because usually you can see a little bit of the bookcase, but I've just done it like this. My table's a bit forward today, so it's a different setup. I'm really appreciate all the comments about my new setup as well, and my Loki poster and everything. I'm thinking of I might get a poster next to it. I don't know. I was saying about that, or I was going to put a poster over there. But either way, whatever I decide to do, it's probably going to be another Marvel sort of associated poster, because I'm a really big fan of Marvel, as you can tell from that poster. And yes, I also had recently, I had Nina talking about, Nina, who is one of my fans, who is, as you know, as Peace Whispers. I've had her talking a little bit about how I'm obsessed with Tom and how I'm like one of his number one fans. I'm a really big, massive fan of him. Really, really bad. I absolutely love him, and I hope, like I said in my last video, I hope to meet him one day. I know that he's going to be doing a stage play, like I think next year, and hopefully I can get tickets and see him. She was saying how much I'm his number one fan, and she said that she'd seen one of his films, which is the 4 film, which he plays Loki in it, which I've talked about on my channel previously. Currently I've found out that Tom is doing A Life of Chuck. Well, he's not doing it, he's done it already, but currently I don't know when it's getting released at the moment, because there's a huge massive festival that's been going down, I believe, between certain dates. They have a festival that runs between certain dates, and they get interviewed quite a lot, and so I'm not really sure of when it's getting released. All I know is that there's a film that's come before it, and that's why it's not getting released so soon. Plus I think it might come out in like early October or in mid-October, because it's like, maybe it's, so you know, it's up like near Halloween, I would say. But yeah, but Life of Chuck is basically a Stephen King novel, which is part of, as I said in the last video, it's part of a short story book, which this Life of Chuck mostly resembles around life and death, I would say. I've been watching, I was just then watching an interview of the whole cast talking about the actual series itself and what it's actually about. And I love how each one of them talk about how they got sent the script and how they acquired in being part of it. And as you know, Stephen King is he's a horror sort of novelist that basically focuses on, you know, all things horror and all that. I mean, I kind of want one of his novels, because I haven't actually acquired one yet. So hopefully I get to. But yeah, it's an interesting sort of series. I loved how they kept talking about how it mostly specifies about life and death, and how I think this film is in it's not in order, it's kind of in a sort of different order, like kind of like Memento, kind of, where it sort of ends how it starts or something. I don't know how you would class it, but it's not in alphabetical order, this film. It's kind of in a random order. I know there's a dance scene in this. I know there's a dance scene that's actually in the novel that Tom does midway, because he plays Chuck, and he does a dance midway through with like different interpretations of dance. He said he did like swing, like mambo and all them other dances. I don't know them all, I can't remember, because like I said, I was just recently watching it, and I love, also in the interview that I watched just a second ago, I loved how they all talked about different, you know, how they acquired the script, as I said, and also, you know, about what they would do on their last day, if they knew it was their last day, if they knew they was going to die, in a way. And they was all saying about, we don't really know when we're going to die, as of yet. You know, no one gets a set date of when they're going to die, but they do, which is an interesting theory. And they was all talking about what they were doing their last day. And a lot of them were saying about memories with the family and friends, and how they would try to make up for the time they do when they die. So it's interesting, the series anyway. I'm not going to go too much into it because I kind of don't want to ruin it for everyone. And I've only just know a few things here and there from what I've watched. So that's a little bit about that, a little bit about Tom, since I like him so much. Yeah, I'm also going to talk about my book collection, because like I said, I have a bookshelf which is over there on that side, but you can't see it. And I have books on it, and I've recently acquired some books recently. Please do not fall over. I'm saying to my tripod because it fell over before. So, but anyway, the first book is this Dracula, Bram Dracula book, which is one that I've recently acquired recently. And as you know, Bram Stoker is another horror novelist, kind of like Stephen King, but opposite. I didn't genuinely know how many books he literally had written, and I don't know if I'm really new to Bram Stoker. I do know who he is because he made the Dracula. Bram Stoker was actually a film as well, and it's now a book. This is a limited edition book. I don't know what you would call it, but it's a limited edition book. So that's why it's big. But I really do love like this detail in this book, like the actual front and back of this book. And as you can tell, there's like gold. I love the gold on this, like, you know, sort of pages. It's not gold on the pages, it's just gold on the actual, like, here. And also this is the back of the book. And inside it tells you a bit about the author, Bram Stoker, about his life, and it goes on to diary excerpts in it, like the kind of like the film, but it's kind of a bit different as well. But the original manuscript, I think of this because I read in the book somewhere that the original manuscript of this book went missing a long time ago, due to Bram Stoker and everything, and I think they've readapted it. Like they found parts of it and they've redone it. In part, they've redone this. It's basically inside just about. It's got diary excerpts in it of all the characters that talk about what happens in the story. I'm currently reading this at the moment, so I can't really read it as much. I mean, like, I can sort of read I suppose I could read a little bit of the author information for you, so you know who he is as an author, which I will read. Also, there's a little bit of a quote at the beginning, if I can read it, which says, this is not from another book that he wrote, which is The Jewel of the Seven Stars. So I didn't realise how many books he'd written. But it says, this is from The Jewel of the Seven Stars, and it says, do not grieve for her. Who knows, but she may have found the joy she sought. And patience be all that make for happiness in this world, or in the world of the past, or of the future, of the living or the dead. She dreamed her dream, and that is all that say of us can ask. And it's a brilliant quote. It's a brilliant quote from a book, and I'm glad he's added it. I will show you a picture of the author. This is a picture of the author, which is Bram Stoker. It's kind of like old-fashioned. But I will read some of this. But I'm currently reading it at the moment, and I have to say I'm really enjoying this book. Because I'm at the part where he's met Dracula, Jonathan's met Dracula, and they're all like diary excerpts of the characters, like I said. But I won't ruin it too much because I haven't read it yet, but you know. But I'll read some of this. So it says, Abraham Bram Stoker was an Irish novelist and short story writer, best known today for the 1897 Gothic novel Dracula, born on November the 8th, 1947 in Dublin, Ireland, to Abraham Stoker and Charlotte Matilda Blake Thornley. Stoker was the third of 7 children, bedridden with an unknown illness until he started school at the age of 7. Stoker excelled as an athlete at Trinity College Dublin, which he attended from 1864 to 1870. He graduated with honours as a BA in mathematics and was the author of the College Historical Society, the HIST, and president of the University Psychology Society, well, the first paper was so sensational in fiction and society. Stoker became interested in the theatre while a student and became the theatre critic for the Dublin Evening Mail. Co-owned by the author of Gothic Tales, Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu, Stoker also wrote stories, and in 1872 The Crystal Cup was published by the London Society, followed by The Chain of Destiny in 4 parts in the Shamrock in 1876. While a civil servant in Dublin, Stoker wrote a non-fiction book, The Duties of Clerks of Petty Sessions in Ireland, published 1879, which remained a standard work furthermore. But he possessed an interest in art and was a founder of the Dublin Sketching Club in 1874. In 1878, Stoker married Florence Balcombe, daughter of Lieutenant Colonel James Balcombe. She was a celebrated beauty whose former suitor was Oscar Wilde. I know Oscar Wilde. He was a writer. That's really weird, that information anyway. The Stokers moved to London, where Stoker became acting manager and then business manager of Iving's Lyceum Theatre, London, a post he held for 27 years, working for Iving, the most famous actor of his time and managing one of the most successful theatres in London, made Stoker a notable, if busy man. He was dedicated to Iving, and the memories show that he idolised him. In London, Stoker also met Hal Caine, who became one of his closest friends. He dedicated Dracula to him. While manager for Iving and secretary and director of London's Lyceum Theatre, he began writing novels, beginning with The Snake's Pass in 1890 and Dracula in 1897. Dracula is a story novel written as a collection of realistic but completely fictional diary entries, telegrams, letters, ship logs and newspaper clippings, all of which add a level of detailed realism to Stoker's story, a skill he developed as a newspaper writer at the time of his publication. Dracula was considered a straightforward horror novel based on imaginary creations of supernatural life. Dracula has been assigned so many literature genres, including vampire literature, horror fiction, and the Gothic novel and invasion literature. The novel touches on themes such as the role of women in Victorian culture, sexual conventions, immigration, colonialism, and post-colonialism. Although Stoker did not invent the vampire, he defined its modern form, and the novel has spawned numerous theatrical film and television interpretations. For some reason, I don't know why, but I don't like the word colonialism or non-colonialism anymore, because it's only because recently there's this woman who I would technically class as sort of racist in a way. I don't really like talking about it, but she's kind of annoying, and she's always on shows talking about slavery and past colonialism and all this, and she says it constantly all the time, and it's just made me think of it now, and I don't know why, but so sorry to sort of pause there, but I don't know why, but it's just, it annoys me, that word now. So I don't particularly like it. So she's always on, I always see her on TikTok and she's always on shows. And then there's lots of people that always say, why is she always on shows? Because she always says things. And I don't know if anyone knows who I'm on about. She's a black woman and she's kind of a bit of a racist. She comes across as a racist anyway, in my opinion. Where she's all for black people. And she goes on about slavery and everything and all that. But I think, I genuinely think she doesn't know what she's on about, because she's never been a slave and she's never witnessed all the stuff being a slave. And, slaverism was, abolished years ago. So I don't know what she is mumbling on about. But she's just annoying anyway. I don't like the word. That's all I'm going to say. I won't go into it because people will probably be like, oh, why are you talking about this, Fran? This is unrelated. But anyway, I'll carry on. The original 548 manuscript of Dracula, believed to have been lost, was found in a barn in northwestern Pennsylvania during the early 1980s. It included the typed manuscript with many corrections and handwritten on the title was The Undead. The author's name was shown at the bottom of Bram Stoker author Robert Latham notes. The most famous novel ever published. Its title changed at the last minute. The manuscript was purchased by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen. Stoker's original research notes for the novel are kept by the Rosenbach Museum and Library in Philadelphia. A facsimile edition of the notes was created by Elizabeth Miller and Robert 18 Balzang in 1998, which was, sorry about coughing, which was years later. Like, I preferably believe, I think the last of the novel he written was the Dracula in that last year. But anyway, we'll carry on. So it says the story of Dracula has been basis for numerous films and plays. Stoker himself wrote the first theatrical adaptation, which was presented at the Lyceum Theatre under the title Dracula or the Undead shortly before the end. This includes Dracula 1931, Dracula alternative title, The Horror of Dracula 1958, and Dracula, also known as Bram Stoker's Dracula 1992. Dracula was adapted as Nosferatu in 1922, a film directed by the German director F.W. Murnau, without permission from Stoker's widow. So this Nosferatu, so you can get away with creating like Dracula, but Nosferatu, I think, Nosferatu, as everybody knows, is a silent black and white film, and I think it's kind of classed as copyright but it's not really if you change the name. So I think they changed the name, but I think Stoker's widow wasn't a big fan of it, so tried to sort of sue in a way to say, well, you can't really use it because it's a bit like trying to do Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. You know, it's a bit like that, but then they kind of get away with it if you rename it, like you rename the sort of Dracula within it. But I actually like Nosferatu. Nosferatu is a brilliant film. It's a black and white film. I always found, it's probably before my time, like I said, but I always found the bit where he walks through the door and he looks all scary and stuff. I always found that bit scary because it is very scary. But yeah, I can understand totally why that happened. I think that's what it's saying. That it was kind of copyright in a way, but got away with it because it wasn't really, Dracula. But I think the whole point is you can't really go on about it. I mean, you can't really say that, write a film about it unless you ask permission, of course. I think you have to change the character within it anyway. So it says the filmmakers attempted to avoid copyright problems by altering many of the details, including changing the name of the villain to Count Orlok, which is reasonable. The character of Count Dracula has remained popular over the years, and many films have used the character as a villain, while others have named him in the titles, including Dracula's Daughter, The Bride of Dracula, and Zoltan, Hound of Dracula, as of 2009. As estimated, 217 films feature Dracula in a major role, a number about second only to Sherlock Holmes, 223 films. After suffering a number of strokes, Stoker died on the 20th of April 1912. Some biographers attribute the cause of death as hereditary syphilis. Others in overwork. He was cremated and his ashes placed in a display urn at Golders Green Crematorium, which is Golders Green in London. I didn't know how close that actually is. And this is after his son Irving Noel Stoker died in 1961. his ashes were added to the urn. The original plan had been to keep his parents' ashes together, but after Florence Stoker's deed, their ashes were scattered at the garden's rest. So yeah, that's a bit about the author. I didn't realise how much information I knew about him anyway, but yes, he died of like syphilis, and he had died from it. I think syphilis is a condition where all of your body is like, where you sort of stay still and all your body like clenches up and everything, like all your bones in your body and everything, which is kind of sad. But he lived for quite a while. And 20th of April is probably before my birthday, because my birthday is 22nd of April, and it's 1995, but it's not the same. Please don't fall. It's not the same as such, but he died in April. I find that there's a lot of authors that die around that time, because I think William Shakespeare died after my birthday, which is 23rd of April, but a different year. So it's kind of good that is near my birthday, kind of. I didn't realise how close his ashes are. His ashes, I think, are in Golders Green, London Cemetery, and his apparently his son is buried. His son's ashes are with him and all, and so it's on both ends. It's got both their names, and obviously his wife's ashes got spread for some reason. A bit like Brandon Lee and Bruce's graves, they're close together too, so I think that's why and I think he was Jewish, so I would think that's why he got cremated, but I'm not sure because it doesn't mention anything about it. But yeah, that's a bit of information about it, but I really love this book. I love the detail with it, and it kind of reminds me of like a sort of witchcraft book, because it's got that symbol at the front, and I think it does that star does indicate sort of witchcraft symbol. I think it is a witchcraft symbol. I may be mistaken, it may not look like it, it's just a star, but it looks like it nonetheless. But that's a little bit of the author, and I'm currently reading this and I'm really enjoying it so far. Hopefully I can sort of talk about this book a little bit more. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I've just realised that the video is going to get too long and then people might zone out and probably fall asleep, but if you do, it's fine. The other book I've gotten, which I've got to be careful because I've got to make sure it doesn't shake. It's going to shake though. So the next book I've got, which I will spend a little bit more time on talking about, I might talk a little bit about the author too, like read some of his information too, so you get to know him. I think I know a little bit more about this author as well. So this book is a really, really good book, and you may recognise the title because this film, Guillermo del Toro did a stop motion not too long ago about the Adventures of It's called The Adventures of Pinocchio, and it's by Carlo Collodi. And he recently did a stop motion adaptation of this film, which I assume I've talked about, and I don't know if people have heard me talk about it, but I've talked about this. I have actually watched the stop motion of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and it's exactly the same as the Carlo Collodi version, but a little bit things have changed here and there, like it got mostly focuses on about the sad. It's really, really sad in parts. It's the Pinocchio is actually made out of wood and not made out of, well, like I would say wood as meaning oak wood, and it's generally wood. Not like it doesn't look anything like the wooden boy in the original Pinocchio, the Disney one, because I think the reason why they never made a film about the Carlo Collodi book is because it's too dark and menacing. I think that's why. But it's an interesting film. I might talk about it again in another video because I know a lot of people who are new might not know about it. So yeah, but anyway, this is The Adventures of Carlo Collodi. And this this book has actually been interpreted in so many, it's actually been translated in so many different languages. Like originally it was a magazine and started off as like short stories within a magazine, and then in Italy, so the original version of this was Italian and not English, so and then it got translated over the years into English. And the original, I would say, ending of this book was changed by Carlo Collodi. It's got a very complicated name. I know it's Italian though. But the original ending of this novel was originally going to be where Pinocchio it was going to be sort of a death sequence in a way. Like he would hang upon, because of everything that's happening within the novel, Pinocchio would get a rope and hang his body on a tree, and he would die in the ending of this book. But then Carlo changed it to one of where Pinocchio has to redeem himself to become a real boy, in a sense. But yeah, I will tell you a little bit about this. As you know, this is about a boy named Pinocchio, hence the Adventures of Pinocchio. And this boy is like made out of wood. Geppetto makes Pinocchio out of oak wood, like he does in the film by Guillermo del Toro. And he makes him, and sadly he's a bit mischievous and somehow a bit evil in parts. And he always talks back to Geppetto within the book. It's kind of a bit sinister too, because as you know, Cricket, it was called just the Cricket in this book. It was also known as Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio, the original Pinocchios. And in the film, they make him a somewhat author in it, which I believe. But the Cricket tries to convince Pinocchio what he's doing is really, really mischievous and wrong, and that he doesn't know right from wrong in a way, because he sadly doesn't have a brain or anything like that, because he's made out of wood. So the Cricket tries to warn him about a few things, what he's doing, but sadly Pinocchio bashes the Cricket with a hammer, which is very, very sinister in some parts of the book. And then after that, he ends up by theatre, and the actual theatre puppets and all the stuff within the theatre is kind of sinister as well, from what I've read from the book. It also has illustrations in the book, which I absolutely love as well, like pictures, which you don't usually get, as well, which I forgot to mention. But yeah, really, this book, in a sense, was a way to teach kids to behave responsibly, to behave in a good way. And what this book teaches you is that even though Pinocchio is unbehaved within the book, he kind of redeems himself throughout the book and then becomes something, he becomes so much good and beautiful in so many ways. I think the theatre bit in this is sinister as well, but I'll talk about the book in body and probably go on about the differences between the book and the film, which would be interesting. I don't really want to talk about it too long, but that's roughly what it's about. But it was, like I said, it was in different languages first. So, and actually there is a place, I believe, I think it's in Italy or somewhere. There's a place actually named after the book, I think, that you can go to, and there's a little garden there, and there's like sort of sculptures of all the there's a sculpture of the whale in the book, which is called Dogtooth. That is in there, and there's also a person that dresses up as the Disney Pinocchio throughout. and that, I think within that garden, Carlo Collodi is buried in there, also with his mum, because they were buried in the same place. But anyway, we will talk a little bit about the author as I'm going on, and my bum is going dead as well. Sorry about that if I'm moving. But yes, anyway, I'll show you a picture of Carlo Collodi. I don't know if anyone knows him very much. I don't know if anyone knows anything about him, and you know him already before I'm even talking about him. But that's a picture of him. Looks very looks like a sort of priest-like person, but I really love his sort of like outfit, and also he's got a little bit of hair and he's bald a little bit. But anyway, that's him. So it says Carlo Collodi. I think it's Carlo Collodi, but I can't pronounce it. It's Italian, excuse that. Which is also Frisonomy of Carlo Lorenziani, which is Italian. But I can pronounce it because I'm very good at Italian. So it's him. 1826 till 1890, another 1800s person. A lot of authors are around that era, I would say. He was an Italian journalist and an author, and he wrote The Adventures of Pinocchio, and first serialized in, this is Italian, let me see if I can pronounce it because I don't know if I can, which is Gonel per I Bambini. God, I'm really good at Italian apparently. The children's magazine as Le Avventure di Pinocchio, which is 1881 till 1883. After several months of the series' well-received publication, Pinocchio was left for dead, hanging from the branch of an oak tree, which I talked about, by two robbers. This was an outpouring of grief and demand for a continuation that Collodi requested the novel Pinocchio become a bestseller. The adventures of now iconic puppet boy, appealing universally to children from all over North America, Europe, and numerous other countries. He inspired many movie producers to adapt him to the big screen, including Walt Disney, created by his poor woodcarver father Geppetto. Pinocchio is a mischievous boy whose nose grows if he tells a lie. At times dark and commercial, and a authority to the socio-political times in Italy, which was the war-inflicted times during Italy. And it was Mussolini, Italy, if I believe correctly. As he redeems himself to become a real boy whilst learning the moral of the story. So he changed the story as well, in other words, to make him more redeemable, so he becomes more of a real boy than rather the sad ending that everybody hated. But originally it was adapted into a magazine through his short stories and because he was not a journalist. But then it got put into a book eventually as time went on. That's what it's pretty much saying. Cloudy was the name chosen by Lorenzi for his physiognomy after the hillside village in Tuscany, birthplace of his mother. It now boasts the part of Pinocchio, which is what I was on about, but I wasn't sure what part of Italy it was. So, setting for many tourists and the local admirers alike. Carlo Collodi was born in Florence, Italy on the 29th of November 1826. His writing career started from the publication of reviews submitted to various journals, including L'Italia Musicale. He served time during the Wars of Independence with the Tuscany Army, and he then founded Lapone, a satirist newspaper. He then went on to work as a dramatist and short story writer. His books for children were used as school texts, including, this is Italian again, see if I could pronounce it though, L'Adbaco di Galignetio, Johnny's Arithmetic, which other words mean Johnny's Arithmetic Primer, and the Le Grammatica di Ginettiano, Johnny's grammar book. Johnny's grammar books. Harry Potter. That's one then. And Vigo B. l'Italia de Granetio, Johnny's journey through Italy, which is different stories, like short stories he wrote in this thing in the newspaper. Carlo died in Florence on the 26th of October 1890, and was buried in Cementerio Monumental delle Porte Santi Firenze, Tuscany, Italy. It's Italian again. The National Carlo Collodi Foundation was established to promote education and the works of Carlo Lorenziani, and the Park of Pinocchio attracts many visitors each year. So, in other words, he's buried in this part in Tuscany where his mother was buried. And there's also like a park there. It's a very beautiful park. I've actually looked it up on online. I'd love to go there. I'd love to see it because I'm a big fan of him. And it's in Italy, in Tuscany, and there's a park called the Park of Pinocchio, which is named after him, which is named after the book. And there, like I said, there's this beautiful garden, got butterflies. It's sort of like a butterfly garden too. It's butterflies within it, and proper ones. And there's also like a dog tooth sculpture and other sculptures within it, within the book as well, like to do with the book. And there's also a person. Oh, sorry about that, guys. My finger fell off. Sorry if you heard a loud crash. That was really bad. Sorry. Here we go. Sorry. That's because I bashed on the table, so it fell off. That was kind of funny. Sorry. I'm like talking over it, and then the camera falls. Oh, it's a right pain in the ass. It's in my head in this tripod today, guys. It's right doing mine in. Oh, it's not gonna do it, is it? It's struggling for life. I don't know whether to hold on to it. No one can see Loki now, dude. There we go. I'll just leave it like that, as I'm almost finished now anyway. But yeah, that's the books that I've acquired over the few months. They're interesting books, and it's interesting to know a little bit backstory about the authors, that's all. But yeah, I would go on a little bit more about and rambling on about other stuff, but I kind of don't want to make this video longer than it should be because it's already like 43 minutes already. And I'm really sorry about my camera, well, my phone falling over. It's currently on a tripod and it's really doing my head in today because I try to make it still and then it just falls over. And if you bash on the table, apparently it doesn't, it sort of falls over and doesn't stand up anymore. I think it's trying to indicate that, like, you need to stop filming now, Fran. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. I'm sorry it was so long. If you're falling asleep by now at the end of the video, that's totally fine. You don't have to carry on listening to me. That's the whole point of my videos. Hopefully I should be back doing some more content. I did want to read a poem today as well, a little bit, but I've done enough reading. But it's a poem, it's a beautiful poem actually by T.S. Eliot. It's Alfred's Day something, I can't remember. And it's called Love After something, I can't remember the title of it, but I actually currently have it on my books. It's like another app like Kindle, but it's not Kindle, like ebooks, I believe. So I might read that next time on my next video. But if you can, watch my content several times so you can get my watch time hours up, please, if you're listening, that is at the end. Please carry on watching my videos constantly on demand, even if you just sort of leave them on in the background and sort of watch them that's even good, because then my watch time hours will kind of go up. I've also got to do shorts with it. I even have to know if I'm even still in the partnership or not. I have to reapply, but I will let you know and update you as soon as. But I don't want to keep talking on about stuff. But I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless, and I hope you have a wonderful day, guys, as well. It's currently sunny outside as well here, so that's good to know. Usually it's really dull, so my natural lighting in here is really good as well. But I really appreciate all the thanks for my new setup, by the way. I appreciate all the comments saying to me, telling me to come, like, welcoming me back and that I'm back. There's a lot of people that have requested me certain things on my channel, which I'll try and do at some point. But in the meantime, have a nice day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.